Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new vlog. It's Wednesday and I have been busy repacking everything up for our trip this weekend. We are headed up country on Friday after Josh finishes work, and Josh and I then leave for Amsterdam on Saturday morning. So if you didn't watch my last video, Josh and I are going to Amsterdam for a few days, just a nice little breakaway to reconnect and revitalise. Zach and Eli are actually staying with my mum and dad, and then Avery is staying with my brother and sister-in-law, the same sister-in-law that watched her when we went to the Maldives. She is a trained paediatric nurse, so we feel fully safe and comfortable leaving Avery in her care. But that does mean that I've had a lot of separate packing to do. So I've had to pack for Avery, and where she's going to be staying, I've had to pack separately for the boys. I mean, to be fair, the boys are fairly easy. All they need is clothes and toiletries, and then the last minute stuff they will pack, like their electronics, the bits and bobs they want to take. And then I've had to pack for Josh and myself. So we are travelling from Manchester Airport. We are going hand luggage only. I have paid extra for additional hand luggage, so Josh and I each get a small bag which can fit under a seat. I think the EasyJet policy is like 45 centimetres by 20 by something. Either way, I've checked, our bags are within the requirements, and then I've also paid for an additional carry-on suitcase, just a small one. So that should be fine. We're going for 3 nights. As with any holiday, I want to make sure I have options, so I might be slightly overpacking, but only slightly. Avery, on the other hand, I have to pack everything in the kitchen sink because this girl has a lot of stuff and a lot of things that she needs. You might be able to see some of the bags behind me. So in here I've got all of her feed and giving sets that she's going to need. In this bag I will also be putting her SATS monitor, her feeding pump charger, her meds, her syringes, everything kind of medicine wise will kind of go in this bag. And then I have this bag here. This bag was actually a gift from one of you guys, and this has become Avery's travel bed bag because I can fit her travel bed and her kind of blankets and sheets to go with it all inside the bag. So it actually stays in this bag, and it's come in really handy. So this kind of travels everywhere with us when we go away. So this is the inflatable bed that Avery was sleeping on when we first moved here. You might be able to remember it from my house tour. So that is coming with us, and then we'll blow that up when we get to my mum's on Friday night, and then hopefully I can fit it in the car without deflating it again when we take Avery to my brother and sister-in-law's house in the morning on Saturday. The red bag back there is all of Avery's conventional travel items. And then we also have Avery's baby bag. So this has all of her nappies. I'm hoping that will be enough. I've done about 5 or 6 for each day. Full pack of wipes, and then also Avery's emergency medical bag. I got the little bag off Temu, and it's actually got like a cross medical symbol on it, so I like that it's easily distinguishable as a medical bag. And in there is basically everything Avery would need in an emergency, whether that be a G-tube related, adrenal related, epilepsy related. So her rescue med is in there, her emergency hydrocortisone injection is in there, along with her little steroid identification card, her spare button is in there, her stoma stoppers are in there, a spare extension set, spare giving sets, everything she might need in an emergency is in that little medical bag. I will probably add another vial of rescue med in there as well, just that there's 2 in there. Just always better to be safe than sorry. And then also I will be packing Avery's care plan. This is the one I wrote up for my sister-in-law when she looked after Avery when we went to the Maldives. And then all I've done is just kind of gone over it in pen where there are any changes, like her meds and whatnot, because there have been a few changes. I've also written in emergency hydrocortisone plan as well. I've added mine and Josh's phone numbers, Avery's hospital and NHS number are on here, the hospital that she is kind of known to, which is the hospital here where we live, just in case. Also our home address, and it's got kind of names and numbers for Avery's professionals here as well. I have also contacted Avery's community care nurse here and asked her to make the hospital in Staffordshire aware that Avery is going to be there, and she's done that, and she's also given them her number. So if, God forbid, Avery had to go to hospital while she was there, they have the phone number for the community care nurse local to us and that is known to Avery. So if they need to ask any questions about her that my sister-in-law doesn't know, they can just call them. Although everything that my sister-in-law is going to need to know really is in that booklet. That's another reason why I always keep this in Avery's baby bag. Should there ever be an emergency, even here, I can take this to hospital with us, and instead of them asking 1,000,001 questions, I can hand them this. A lot of the time they ask for medicine dosages and whatnot. That's all written there. Professionals, it's all written in there. It's all in there, and I've updated that, ready to go. So that is most of Avery's stuff packed, aside from her last minute bits, which is things that she's going to be using up until we leave. I'll be packing her gaiters, her SATS monitor, obviously her feeding pump and the charger, all of her meds, all of her kind of syringes, things that we will use up until Friday. I will just pack them on Friday. I have a little list on my phone just so I can tick those off. The boys are packed and ready to go pretty much. All of their clothes and their toothbrushes are packed, and I'll need to pack Zach's deodorant for him as well because he does need to wear it now because my little boy is growing up. But yeah, in terms of what Josh and I are packing, our little suitcase is out and half packed, and then the rest of our stuff is just kind of lined up here. So the stitch bag is our travel clothes. Obviously we're not flying the same day that we travel up country, so that's just there for us to change into on Saturday morning. Josh's rucksack is over there. All of his clothes are packed. Again, it's just last minute stuff that needs to be packed. And this is my kind of small bag. I'm actually really happy with it. I bought this on Shein. It was really inexpensive. I think it was less than £10. I was just looking for something cheap that I could use once, but it's fairly sturdy actually. It comes with the strap at the back so I can pop it over the suitcase, which I did look for. And it has nice little organisational pockets. It's even got that shoe bit in the side, so if I was to put shoes in, it has a bit of fabric in here so that you don't get your clothes messy. But because I'm taking the suitcase, I don't need to put shoes in here. In here I'm going to put things that I need easy access to, so all of our liquids, for example. Anything we're going to need Saturday morning, and then things that I might want to use on the plane. But I mean, I think it's like an hour flight, something like that, so I don't think I will need too much. I was just looking for the extra luggage space more than anything. So I had another delivery from Wild the other day, and when I saw that I was getting a delivery, I assumed it was going to be more deodorant scents. I love getting the deodorant scents, they're always so nice, but actually it wasn't. They've actually sent me a new body wash scent and also a new reusable component. So if you didn't know, Wild doesn't just do deodorant anymore. They do body washes. They also do lip balm now too, which I'm really, really keen to try. But they've sent me a lovely blue bottle. At the moment I have a pink and a black one. The black one always sits out on my bath because it's very aesthetically pleasing. They all are, to be fair, but black, because it's more of a sort of neutral colour, is more my style. And they've sent me the cherry blossom scent. This is obviously very floral, but it also has a little bit of a like a sweet, like a almost like a food type scent to it. I found in the background. It's really, really nice. So I am probably going to pop this in my black component because that is almost empty, so I want to refill that. So the components are obviously reusable, and then the refills, the tub is compostable, so better for the environment. And Wild's products are made with natural ingredients, so better for the body as well. You guys know I've been using Wild deodorant now for, I want to say, over a year, and I haven't touched any other deodorant since. I know it's better for my body, I know it's better for the environment, and honestly it works. So I just use a few swipes under each arm and it works, which really is the main thing you're looking for in a deodorant, really, is so that you don't get stinky by the end of the day. The bonuses are that you know you're not putting any harsh chemicals on your body, and you're also being good to the environment. So this one actually does need a refill, so I figured I could just show you how I do it. So you wind it all the way down to the bottom. It will stop turning when it gets to the bottom, and then it just has two little buttons on the side, so you just push those in and you can pull the bottom out. The refill comes out with it. Again, this is compostable, so once again better for the environment. It is also vegan. The scents are all incredible. This one that I'm going to use now is Santorini Sunset. It's a really nice summery scent, quite fresh. So all you do is pop the refill onto the bottom of the component and then click it back into place, wind it up, and you have a fresh new deodorant to use, and it is pretty much good to go. So thank you again to Wild for sending me the new body wash. I'm sure I will enjoy it just as much as I enjoy all of the products, but I do have a discount code for Wild. It's 20% off. I will leave it in the description box below if you are keen to check them out. I recommend them. It's all I've used now for a really long time. It is Thursday. Eli comes home from spending a week with his dad today, so I'm really looking forward to seeing him. I've missed him. We travel to my mum's tomorrow evening, and then on Saturday Josh and I fly out to Amsterdam. So I mentioned in my last video that there was a little bit of summer cold going around in our house. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit more now. Honestly, I have not felt like really bad throughout any of it. I get a little bit congested in the evenings, and then I feel quite congested in the mornings. Throughout the day I'm usually fine. I feel like it's kind of all coming out a little bit now though, because you can hear it in my voice, but honestly I feel fine. Avery is doing okay. She's still twitching, but I feel like over the last few months she's had kind of those twitching spells more often than she hasn't, so it's kind of business as usual. Aside from the fact that this week, just because of the way I've been feeling, the fact that we've had to do all of Avery's kind of sickness procedures, we haven't put her in a stander just because we don't want to work her body too hard. We don't want any of her kind of energy going to anything other than kind of healing her body and making her better, because we really don't want to have to go back to hospital if she has another seizure or anything. I mean, it's happened this way before where she's had a bigger seizure. It was kind of less than 5 minutes, so no rescue med was necessary, and it kind of reset her body and she stopped having twitches. Josh and I said if she was going to have a seizure, that would be the best case scenario really, because these twitches just aren't stopping, and we finished the cloprazam course now. I will be reaching out to her paediatrician just to let her know that it didn't work this time round, because there was talks of adding in a second anti-epileptic drug, like a regular one, alongside her topiramate, so I think that may have to happen. We may very well go back to Keppra in addition to the topiramate. The doctor thinks that because she's had a little bit of time away from it, it may be a little bit more effective now, so who knows, we just have to try. Anyway, I had a lovely delivery yesterday from one of you guys. Our lovely friend from LA sent some goodies for Avery, and she sends things every now and again. Honestly, it's so sweet. So Avery has a top up of her lip balm. I like using these lip balms. At the moment I'm actually using one of the Belle ones, but I do like using these lip balms on Avery's lips, not just because her lips get dry, because they do, so it keeps her lips kind of nice and moist, but they're really scented and they're flavoured and they taste nice. I have put it on my lips as well to try it. They do taste nice, and because Avery is nil by mouth, it's nice for her to get tastes in other ways, and that is a nice way to do it that's completely safe, because she's not going to kind of ingest any of that in terms of like swallowing it or anything. It's just a nice taste and scent on her lips, so that is really nice. And then more hair accessories, you guys. I mean, look, let me just it's overflowing. I'm gonna need to get a bigger bow organizer because we're running out of space on there. Not that I'm complaining, because I love hair accessories for Avery. I definitely feel like bows are kind of like her trademark at this point. She literally doesn't go a day without wearing one, and she pretty much has one to match every single outfit now. But what I really like about these, they have these flowers, and this same lovely lady actually sent like a collection of hair accessories last time, and it came with these little flowers, and I really like them. It's a nice little change from bows. But this one actually also has little cherry and strawberry hair accessories, which I just think is completely adorable. And then she's also sent a little gift set, a little Winnie the Pooh gift set, which I think is really sweet. Avery is still kind of very much in this development range. These kind of toys definitely are still useful for her. It has a squeaky toy, which Avery likes. She likes the noises from like things like squeaky toys. and it's got some rattles and some crinkly things, so kind of all the different sounds and textures, and of course a nice little Winnie the Pooh there in the middle. She's obsessed with her mermaid at the moment. I think I showed it to you a few vlogs back, but her cousin, my niece, gave her like a mermaid, and it's almost as tall as she is, and she absolutely loves it. She cuddles into it and she turns to give it kisses and everything. It's adorable. I actually will have to remember to pack that when we go, because that's one thing I haven't thought about, is toys for Avery. So I need to pick out a few of her favourites to pack to send to my brother and sister-in-law's house. And when we take them, we're not taking Avery to my brother's house until Saturday morning. We're staying with my mum on Friday night. It gives us a chance to spend time with her. Obviously my mum will see Avery while we're away. My mum and my brother live like 10 minutes from each other, so my mum will see Avery while we're away, but it's nice for us to just spend time there with her. We're going to spend the night there, and then we're going to leave very early hours to my brother's house on the Saturday morning, and then my brother is very kindly taking us to the airport, so we're just going to leave our car at his house. So yeah, really sweet gifts once again. Honestly, we're so grateful for everything you send. You do not have to keep sending things, but it's much appreciated, and these things are really sweet. So with us going up country, and with me having this kind of flair for baking at the moment and doing lots and lots of baking while I've been here in Wales, it didn't seem right to go to my mum and dad's empty-handed. So I actually have some leftover caramel from the cake that I made in my last vlog. I made the caramel 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, so it's coming kind of up to its end date. You shouldn't really keep it more than 2 weeks because it is homemade. So I thought I would make use of that in some baking, and yesterday I made up some cookie dough. This has been chilling in the fridge. What you'll notice about this cookie dough though is it doesn't actually have any chocolate chips in it. That is because I'm going to try, and I've never done this before, so I'm hoping it turns out okay. I'm going to try encasing a little bit of the caramel within the cookie, and hopefully it'll have a nice caramel inside. Now, the risk is that the caramel will just kind of ooze out of the cookie, but this is why I've chilled the cookie dough. The caramel is nice and firm and cold in the fridge, so I'm really hoping that this works. So apologies about the backlight in here. I know the lighting's really terrible because the window is behind me, but this is the only way that I can actually get everything in the shot and myself. So I've got my cookie dough, I've got my caramel. Also, sorry about the background too, I know it's messy, I need to do the dishes. And all I'm going to do is weigh out 50 grams of the cookie dough, or as close to as I can get without kind of faffing around with it too much. I'm going to mould it into a bit of like a cup shape, so that's kind of what it looks like. My hands are clean, by the way. And then I'm going to take a scoop of the caramel, not too much because again I really don't want this to kind of ooze out of the edges, and then pop it into the middle of the cup. And then my theory is I should be able to just kind of roll the dough. I am going to have a tiny little bit more of cookie dough just to kind of close up the seal there, so probably be easier for me to put the cookie dough in kind of 2 parts. And then once all of the caramel is encased, and just pop it on this plate with some grease-proof paper, and these will go back in the fridge for a little while before I put them in the oven, just to chill and make sure that they don't spread too much. So I just baked 2 to start with, just to see how much they spread and how long it took them to cook, and if it actually worked. So I mean, the caramel's not, you know, completely oozing out of them, so I'm happy with that, but they're quite flat, so I don't actually know what they're going to be like. I think I'm going to have to try one just to see if I want to continue doing this method, or just stick some chocolate chips in the dough and make some regular cookies. So the answer to my question is it does not work. The caramel is just too runny when it's warm, and it seeps out the bottom, and then the cookie doesn't actually stay together when you try and pick it up. So that's a shame. The ones I've done that are sitting in the fridge now, I think I'm probably just gonna put them back in with the dough. They'll have a slight caramel flavour to them, but that's fine. And then just stick some chocolate chips in the dough and do regular cookies. So I've done a complete 180 and changed my mind. I've found some chocolate chips in it, and I'm gonna stick it in the freezer. I don't really have time to bake the cookies now. I thought it was gonna be a lot faster than this, and Eli's coming home in about an hour. I've still got to clean the house. Avery needs me. So this is going to have to wait for another day. The intention was there. That's a shame, but priorities, I suppose. Hello guys. It is now, what day is it? It is Thursday, following week. So we had an amazing time in Amsterdam. It was really, really good. We went to the Van Gogh Museum. Josh and I realised very quickly that art museums were not for us. It was really cool to see the original pieces, but we found it a little bit boring. The Anne Frank Museum, the Anne Frank house, on the other hand, was really interesting, really sad. It was a very strange feeling walking around the rooms that, you know what happened there, and yeah, it was really sad. There were a lot of monuments in Amsterdam to the Holocaust as well, and again, just really moving, really sad, and really eye-opening. Aside from kind of seeing the history, we just had a really fun time there. We spent time together, we walked around the streets. It was really, really, really good, and we really needed it. Avery had a really good time with my brother and sister-in-law. They've already told me a few times that they really miss her and they want her back. My mum's exactly the same with the boys. I spoke to her earlier on the phone and she said she feels really sad because the house is quiet, and she misses the boys. We've said that we would definitely go back to Amsterdam. We thought it was really, really fun there. In other news, the last time I spoke to you guys, or last week, I think I mentioned Avery seemed a little bit unwell, so with the twitching, and then she had a little bit of a rash on her face. Well, the twitching's still going on, but it's not as bad. The clobazam didn't seem to work this time, but the twitches kind of slowed down a little bit. The rash, on the other hand, has gotten a lot worse. I mean, she's in dire need of a cuddle at the moment, which is why we're rocking. I'm trying to see if she's tired, because she's just not happy. But I'm not sure if you can see it, but are you looking? Are you looking? The rash has gotten quite bad, and she's getting a lot of styes in her left eye, so something's going on. She's a bit run down, so we decided to take her to the doctors this morning. So I booked the appointment this morning and Josh took her. Josh isn't going back to work until Monday, so he's actually gone down to Cornwall to fetch Marley today, which we're all really looking forward to. Not seen Marley in a little while, and then he's with us for 3 weeks, which is really, really nice. But yeah, so Josh took her to the doctors this morning, and the doctor thinks she has a bit of a bacterial infection, which would explain why we couldn't figure out what was going on. But he thinks that's what is causing the kind of rash and the styes, and her generally just not being herself. So she's now got some amoxicillin. She has some hydrocortisone cream for her face, and she also has some eye drops for her eyes. So hopefully it will all start clearing up soon and she'll start to feel better. Aside from that, she is happy. Apparently she was good as gold when she was with my brother and sister-in-law. Everything went really, really smoothly. We didn't need to worry about anything. We spoke to the kids a few times while we were away. So yeah, really, really pleased and glad we did it. Tips for Amsterdam for any of you that are thinking of going. No matter how close you think you are to the city centre, learn the trams or some other kind of public transport early on in your trip. We were staying about 15 minutes walk from the city centre, and we're used to walking, so we just thought that would be an absolute breeze. So on the first day we walked into the city centre, we walked all around the city centre, and then we walked back. By the second day, our feet were so blistered and sore that we had no alternative but to figure out the tram system. The city centre is huge, and if you were kind of to look at it on a map, it almost looks like a spider's web. So you have kind of main streets and then lots and lots and lots of different side streets. And I think what I found really interesting is you can be in one part of the city centre and it can be like one environment, one vibe. And then you walk sort of 20 minutes down the road and it just feels like a completely different place. I mean, all of it, the buildings are absolutely insanely beautiful. We were having a good chat with the taxi driver and he was telling us the rent and my house prices out there are absolutely extortionate, but the houses are beautiful. They're tall and They just look old-fashioned and just gorgeous, and the windows, like, wow. But we'd walk into one area, like say the museum district, and you'd see these massive like mansion style buildings, and then there's one area that's kind of more, I'd say a little bit more high end, and those buildings are like massive and beautiful. And then you'd walk down by the canals and you get to kind of more the sort of touristy areas that are, you know, full of all the seedy novelty kind of stuff that goes with Amsterdam. But we enjoyed all of it. We had a really nice time walking around. Our feet were killing us by the end of it. I had to put plasters on my toes just to walk around the airport on the way home. We ate lots of food. The chips out there, like, I don't know what they do with their chips differently there, but oh my goodness. We went and ate in one restaurant, or it wasn't even a restaurant really, it was more of a cafe, and Josh had these parmesan and truffle fries, and oh my goodness, I don't even like chips, but I could have eaten them by the bucket full. They were so good. We had ice cream, we had waffles, we tried bitterballen, which apparently is traditional in Amsterdam. That was really nice. It was almost like, it reminded me of like hot pate coated in like breadcrumbs and fried. That's what it reminded me of. That was really, really good. The hotel we stayed at the Hotel Arena, and it was actually an old mental asylum, and I didn't tell Josh this before we actually got there because I was worried he'd get a little bit too freaked out to stay there, but honestly it was stunning. The rooms were laid out really strange, something I've not seen before. We walked in and you kind of had the bathroom and like a little living space downstairs, just something small like a desk and a sofa, and then you have a mini fridge and kind of tea and coffee making facilities, and then you walk up some really tiny steep windy steps, and the bed is upstairs, almost kind of like a loft situation. So I thought that was really, really cool. The food at the hotel was great as well, and the staff were really friendly. So if you ever are in Amsterdam, Hotel Arena is definitely a good option. And we managed to find a tram that kind of took us from literally a stone's throw away from our hotel into the city centre. So we ended up making use of that over the last couple of days. We celebrated our anniversary. Our anniversary was the last day that we were out there. 3 years we've been married now. So yeah, just generally a really good time. While I sit here, I actually realised that I didn't actually update you on Avery's speech and language therapy appointment. So it was just an initial appointment really, and what the therapist has recommended is that she signs Avery up for a block of sessions, which they basically just kind of film mine and Avery's interactions, and they give me advice on what I can be doing to kind of help break down the barrier of communication between me and Avery. And there was a lot of things that she recommended that I feel as though we kind of already do. Like, I was telling Josh everything that she said and we were going through them all, and it was like we already do that in a way. We already do most of it, and a lot of it I suppose is things that you just do naturally, like speaking in short sentences, like 1 and 2 words at most, using the same phrases every time you're doing something familiar. So I don't know, bedtime and hungry, the same words for certain things, so that she kind of recognizes the connection. Also using objects, the same objects when we're going to be doing something or trying to communicate with Avery. So if we're going to change her bum, show her the nappy. If she's getting fed, show her the feed. And these are all things that we kind of do anyway, so I feel as though we're already on to a good start in, you know, trying to do everything we can. I'm hoping the kind of therapy side of things will amp up when she starts school, because they'll have a lot more kind of resources there. We are still waiting to hear on schools. We know which one that we want her to go to. They're apparently having a panel this month, so fingers crossed we might hear something. My ideal is that we can maybe start doing some settling in sessions or transitioning in the autumn term. That is if the school has space for 3-year-olds. They do take from 3, but it's if they have the space. If not, Avery does actually reach school age next year, which is absolutely insane. But yeah, so that's kind of where we are with that. Summer holidays are well and truly in. Zach's new school uniform should be coming next week for when he starts secondary school next month. We have Marley for the next 3 weeks. I am actually making a cake next week for a charity. So it's a small charity, and the lady that runs it sets up fundraisers for people that need the funding basically, and they're doing a fundraiser for a little girl who has a life-limiting condition. And when I saw the pictures of her, it just reminded me so much of Avery. And this family, bless them, they have had to go through so much, and I really felt for the mum. So I think what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to show you the process of making this cake. I've already got the idea in my head, and I think it's really fitting. Phil making the cake, and then donate the AdSense that I make sort of within the first week of that video going live, because that's generally when most of the AdSense comes in on a video, and donate it to that organisation, because if it doesn't go to this little girl in particular, then I know it's going to go to somebody that could use the help. This is the kind of thing that Josh and I would reach out to if ever we were stuck and, you know, needed something for Avery but couldn't necessarily afford it. That's the kind of organisation that would help us, and we're not in that position at the moment, and we're really fortunate for that, but so many people are, so it would feel really nice to give back. So keep an eye out for that video, guys, please. And if you can, if you have a spare few minutes, when that video comes out, just watch all of the ads all the way through, and hopefully we can raise some money for this organisation, because it is really a good cause. But that is next week. It is also my best friend's birthday coming up, so without saying too much, just in case this video goes live before her birthday, I'm thinking about sending her a little surprise. But this little madam is not quite as drowsy as I thought she would be. She's actually getting a little bit fussy being in my arms, but she was a little bit upset. She needed a cuddle, but I think she's over it now. Hey, are you over it? But I'm going to close this video out here. I have no idea how long it is, because it feels like I started it ages ago, because we've been away since then. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys again soon for some more summer holiday chaos. Bye guys.